You know, a koala's fingerprints are so similar to human fingerprints they could actually, like, mess up a crime scene.
Wow, really? That's quite a start.
Right. Okay, let's dive into that surprising tidbit because it's just the beginning of what we've uncovered in this deep dive. We've gathered this amazing collection of facts. So, where should we kick this off? Maybe clearing up some misconceptions? Marsupials.
That sounds like a great place to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows how even animals we think we know can surprise us.
Right.
So the information is pretty clear. Koalas are marsupials, not bears.
Yeah, that's a big one people get wrong.
It really is.
Yeah.
And understanding what a marsupial is,
Yeah.
that's key.
Right. Marsupials are basically mammals with built-in baby pouches. Our sources mention kangaroos and koalas specifically.
Classic examples.
You find them mostly down in Australia, right? It's this cool evolutionary thing for protecting their joeys.
Precisely. That pouch gives the newborns a safe spot to keep developing. Now, staying with koalas for a second, beyond just, what they are, their whole lifestyle is pretty unique.
It really is. It's like their whole world revolves around eucalyptus leaves, which honestly don't sound that nutritious.
Not really, no.
And that low-energy diet is directly linked to how much they sleep, like 18 to 22 hours every single day.
Wow.
I could definitely get behind that kind of schedule.
Yeah, it's a fascinating way to conserve energy, isn't it? Because eucalyptus offers so little fuel, basically, they have to minimize how much energy they use.
Makes sense.
And it's also interesting how their bodies adapted to process leaves that are actually toxic to most other animals. And then, yeah, there's that fingerprint thing again. So strange.
Seriously, koala fingerprints that close to ours. It's kind of mind-blowing. Makes you think about convergent evolution.
Exactly, how totally unrelated species can end up developing similar traits.
Yeah, to thrive in similar ways or, handle similar challenges. Why is that, though? The fingerprint similarity.
Well, that's a great question. In this case, it probably came about because of the specific kind of grip they need, for climbing trees and holding onto leaves. So similar patterns evolved completely independently.
Okay.
Now let's switch gears. From the sleepy koala to something with some serious power. The mantis shrimp.
Oh, yeah, the tiny underwater terror. The sources say it has the fastest, strongest punch in the ocean.
It's incredible.
And get this, the force is like a .22 caliber bullet. Hits at about 50 miles per hour.
It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? That speed and power from such a small creature. It really shows how environmental pressures can lead to these incredibly specialized biological weapons, essentially.
Yeah.
And speaking of surprising animal skills,
Yeah.
what about those cows in Japan? The ones with the stripes?
Oh, this one cracked me up. Yeah, apparently researchers found that painting cows with zebra stripes actually reduces fly bites significantly.
Really? Just paint?
Yeah, who knew? It's like a natural visual bug repellent. Simple, but clever.
It really shows the potential for biomimicry,
Yeah.
Learning from nature's patterns to find sustainable solutions. Pest control, in this case.
Cool.
Now let's dive into that huge group of animals without backbones invertebrates.
Ah, yes, the silent majority of the animal kingdom, often overlooked. Our sources list a whole bunch. Earthworms, starfish, jellyfish, corals,
Leeches, octopuses, squids.
crabs, lobsters, shrimp. It's just an incredibly diverse bunch.
It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
invertebrates make up the vast majority of all animal species on Earth. And the info even mentions the giant African land snail as the biggest one.
Wow.
Really puts the sheer diversity of life into perspective when you look beyond just, mammals and birds.
Absolutely. And speaking of impressive creatures, let's talk rhinos. There are 5 species, right? White, black, Indian, Jovan, and Sumatran.
That's correct. And the sources highlight something really crucial about their horns.
Yeah.
They're made of keratin, just like our hair and fingernails.
Right. That's so important because it completely debunks that myth about rhino horn having medicinal powers.
Exactly. It's a persistent and dangerous myth. There's absolutely zero scientific evidence for any medicinal benefits.
None. It's just tragic that these amazing animals are poached for something totally useless in medicine.
It really is. A stark reminder of how harmful misinformation can be for wildlife conservation. The sources also note the Indian rhino, sometimes called the one-horned rhino. Well, it has one horn.
Makes sense.
And sadly, the Javan rhino, which also has one horn, is one of the rarest large mammals left on Earth. Critically endangered. Just a tiny population left in Indonesia.
Oh, man. It's genuinely worrying how close some of these incredible animals are to just disappearing forever.
It is.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Something maybe a little lighter. Frogs. Turns out they're more than just jumpers.
They certainly are. Take how they drink, for example. It's pretty unusual.
How so?
They don't really drink with their mouths like we do. They absorb water directly through their skin. They have this special patch, like a drinking patch.
Like built-in sponges, that's cool. And then there's that rather extreme thing they do if they swallow something bad.
Ah, yes. Full gastric aversion.
Sounds intense.
It is. They basically throw up their entire stomach out of their mouth.
What?
Yep. Then they use their front feet to wipe it clean and then just swallow it back down.
Okay, that's...
Wow.
Talk about a thorough cleanse.
It's dramatic, but effective, I guess. And on a slightly weirder note, the sources mention you can actually hypnotize a frog.
Get out. How?
Apparently, you just gently place it on its back and hold it still for a bit.
Hypnotized frogs. Natural world is just full of these bizarre, wonderful little details, isn't it?
It never ceases to amaze.
Okay, now let's go to the complete opposite end of the speed scale. Sloths.
Ah, sloths. The very definition of taking it easy. They are officially the slowest mammals on Earth.
And their digestion is slow too, right?
Incredibly slow. You can take them a whole month just to digest a single meal.
A month. That's some serious commitment to slow living. Must save a lot of energy, though.
Definitely an energy-efficient lifestyle. Now, how about some creatures that have been around for a really long time? Ants.
Oh yeah, ants are ancient. They've been on the planet for over 100 million years, apparently. Survived all sorts of changes.
It's remarkable. And there are just so many of them, over 12,000 known species. Their ability to adapt is just incredible.
And they're tiny but mighty, right? An ant can lift, what, 20 times its own body weight?
Something like that, yeah. Imagine us trying to lift something 20 times our weight.
Can't even picture it. Plus, the way they hear is cool, too. Through vibrations in their feet, no ears needed.
It really highlights all the different ways organisms sense the world around them. Okay, let's dive back into the water. Octopuses. They seem almost alien sometimes.
Oh, totally. Where do you even start? Okay, 3 hearts. That's wild.
3 hearts, yes. One main one for the body and 2 smaller ones just for the gills.
And their blood isn't red, it's blue.
That's right, because of a copper-based protein called hemocyanin. It carries oxygen, like the iron in our blood, but it makes the blood blue.
Fascinating adaptation for underwater life. And if 3 hearts weren't enough, 9 brains. Seriously.
Well, sort of. They have a central brain, but then each of their 8 arms has its own sort of mini brain or nerve cluster.
So the arms can act independently.
Exactly. Allows for complex movements and decision-making in each limb. It's like distributed processing.
It's like a committee meeting in one body.
Hmm.
And their camouflage.
Okay.
Legendary. Changing color and texture.
Masters of disguise. They can blend into almost anything. Plus, being invertebrates, no backbone, means they can squeeze through impossibly small gaps.
The ultimate escape artists.
Their flexibility is amazing. Okay, let's move on to an animal everyone loves, but maybe doesn't fully get the panda.
The fluffy icon. China's national animal,
Right, that's the one. But despite looking so cuddly, they spend most of their day, like 16 hours, just eating bamboo.
Because bamboo isn't very nutritious.
Exactly. So they have to eat a huge amount. We're talking about 20 kilograms or 44 pounds every single day.
Wow. For an animal that weighs, what, 85 to 125 kilos as an adult?
Right. And compare that adult weight to their birth weight. They're born tiny, only 85 to 140 grams.
That's a stick of butter. Incredible growth.
It really puts their development into perspective. Now, ever wonder why flamingos are pink?
I always just assumed they were born that way.
Nope. The sources say they're actually born white or grayish.
Really? So where does the pink come from?
It comes from their diet, specifically from carotenoid pigments in the algae and shrimp they eat.
So it's literally, you are what you eat. They dye themselves pink.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Okay, let's shift to a reptile that demands respect, the king cobra.
Ooh, impressive snake. India's national reptile and the longest venomous snake in the world.
That's right. They average around 3 to 4 meters, so maybe 10 to 13 feet. But the record is huge, 5.71 meters. That's nearly 19 feet.
Whoa. And their venom is serious business, right?
Extremely potent.
Yeah.
A single bite reportedly has enough venom to kill 20 people, or even an elephant.
Yikes. Definitely don't want to cross one. But here's a surprising thing. They build nests.
They do. It's unique among snakes. They actually build a nest mound out of leaves and debris for their eggs. Shows a level of parental care you might not expect.
Interesting. Okay, let's take to the skies. Bats, the only mammals that can truly fly.
That's right. Over 1,200 species of bats out there. But here's a fun fact. Most bats actually have really weak legs. They're not built for walking.
It makes sense. They're all about flying.
Exactly. Their anatomy is totally specialized for flight. Although the sources do mention a couple of exceptions. The vampire bat and the burrowing bat can actually walk pretty well.
Huh. Always exceptions to the rule. Now, another national bird of India, the peacock. So vibrant.
Absolutely stunning birds. And it's the males, the peacocks, that have those incredible iridescent tail feathers, of course.
Right. The females, the peahens, are much less colorful, mostly gray or brown.
Correct. And together they're called peafowl. But they're not just pretty. They're omnivores, eating insects, plants, small reptiles.
And they have cultural significance too, right? Like with Saraswati in Hinduism.
Yes, they hold symbolic meaning in several cultures. And they can live a decent while, around 10 to 15 years.
Cool. Okay, moving on to a bird that's big in basically every way, the ostrich.
The ultimate flightless bird. Largest living bird and the fastest runner on two legs.
And there's a color difference too, right? Males are black, females brown.
Yep. Males are black and white, females are more light brown. And get this, those long eyelashes they have, they're basically built-in sandstorm protection.
Like natural goggles. Smart adaptation for the desert.
Definitely. And as omnivores, they have that weird habit of swallowing pebbles and grit. Helps grind up their food.
Right, like a natural gizzard.
Exactly. And of course, they lay the largest eggs of any bird. And here's a wild one. Their eyes are actually bigger than their brain.
Bigger than their brain. Okay, that's just bizarre. You can't make this stuff up.
Nature is full of surprises.
Okay, let's waddle over to penguins now.
Ah, penguins. Fascinating birds. Aquatic, flightless, mostly southern hemisphere dwellers, except for the Galapagos ones, which are near the equator.
And they're amazing swimmers, right? Super fast.
Oh yeah, incredibly streamlined. They can hit speeds up to 35 kilometers per hour. That's over 20 miles per hour underwater.
And they range in size quite a bit. You've got the huge emperor and king penguins.
Down to the tiny little blue or fairy penguins. And they're built for the cold. 4 layers of feathers for insulation. That's dense.
Keeps them toasty. And apparently, chinstrap penguins can be a bit feisty.
They have a reputation for being aggressive, yes. Now, their black and white coloring isn't just stylish.
Camouflage, right. Dark back, light belly.
Exactly. Counter shading. Helps them blend in from predators above and prey below. And they have a special gland near their eyes to get rid of excess salt from drinking seawater.
Clever. And what's this about pebbles?
Oh, the pebble proposal. Yeah, some male penguins, like Adelies, present pebbles to females as part of their courtship ritual, like offering a gift.
That's adorable. But sadly, things aren't looking great for some penguins like the emperors.
No, unfortunately. Melting sea ice due to climate change is a huge threat to species like emperor penguins who rely on stable ice for breeding. It's a really serious issue.
Such a direct impact. Okay, now a bird with a slightly misleading name, the cassowary. Sounds gentle, but isn't.
Definitely not gentle. Second heaviest and tallest bird, but widely considered the most dangerous bird in the world.
Why is that?
They can be very aggressive if they feel threatened.
Yeah.
And they have this huge dagger-like claw on their middle toe. It can cause really serious injuries.
Yikes. Admire from afar, then. Interestingly, it's the dad who raises the chicks.
Yes, the male cassowary does most of the incubation and chick rearing. And despite being flightless, they're quite athletic. They can swim, jump high, and run fast. You find them in rainforests in places like New Guinea and northeastern Australia.
And they have a weird eating habit, too. Something about poop.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
They're omnivores, eating fruit, insects, fungi. But sometimes they'll actually re-eat their own droppings, especially if there's undigested fruit pulp in there. Helps them get maximum nutrients.
Okay. Resourceful, I guess. Now let's soar over to the Philippine eagle. Sounds majestic.
It really is. Often called the air's noblest flyer. It's the national bird of the Philippines and one of the rarest, most powerful eagles on Earth.
And they look impressive, too, with those long crowned feathers.
Yes, and a huge, powerful beak. Plus, their eyesight is phenomenal. Supposedly, they can spot prey like monkeys in the dense forest canopy from incredible distances. Much better vision than ours.
Wow. True eagle eyes. Okay, from the huge eagle to the tiniest birds, hummingbirds.
The ultimate mini marvels. Smallest birds, and their name comes from that humming sound their wings make, beating incredibly fast.
And they have that unique flying ability, right? Flying backwards.
Yep, they're the only birds that can sustain backward flight. And hover, fly sideways. Amazing aerial agility. Helps them feed on nectar. Oh, and they can't smell, but their color vision is excellent. Better than ours.
Fascinating trade-offs. Okay, speed demon time. Peregrine falcon.
The undisputed speed king. Largest falcon species and the fastest animal on the planet. They can reach speeds over 386 kilometers per hour. That's like 240 miles per hour during their hunting dives or stoops.
Faster than a Formula One car. Just unbelievable.
Incredible aerodynamics and power. Now let's talk about owls, often seen as wise.
Yeah, those big forward-facing eyes, but they can't move their eyes, right? They have to turn their heads.
Exactly. Their eyes are fixed in sockets, like tubes. So they have incredible neck flexibility. They can turn their heads about 270 degrees around.
Almost all the way. And their hearing and night vision are top-notch, too.
Legendary. Makes them amazing nocturnal hunters. And did you know a group of owls is called a parliament?
Parliament? That's fitting, somehow.
Isn't it? And they're carnivores, sometimes even eating other smaller owls. Their association with wisdom goes way back to ancient Greece with the goddess Athena.
Right, the Owl of Athena. Cool, Link. Okay, let's fly down to New Zealand. Kiwi birds.
Ah, the kiwi. Unique little flightless birds. Endemic to New Zealand. They're omnivores, eat worms, insects, fruit.
And they have good hearing, but not great eyesight.
Exactly. Great hearing and a surprisingly strong sense of smell, which they use to find food underground. But yeah, their vision, especially in daylight, isn't the best.
Interesting senses. Okay, back underwater. Seahorses. They have that weird pregnancy thing, right?
Totally unique. With seahorses, pipefish, and sea dragons, it's the males who get pregnant. They carry the eggs in a pouch and give birth to the live young.
Talk about role reversal. Amazing. And they're good at camouflage, too.
Masters of it. They can change color to blend right in with seaweed or coral.
Cool. Okay, let's move to some land giants. Giraffes, tallest mammals.
Yep, tallest land mammals. And because they're so tall, they also have the highest blood pressure of any land animal. Got to get that blood all the way up that long neck.
Makes sense. Now, fastest on land, that's the cheetah, right?
Cheetahs, yes. Fastest land animal, hitting speeds up to maybe 120 kilometers per hour or 75-mile route in short bursts, built for speed.
Incredible athletes. Okay, big cats time. Tigers, largest cat species.
They are. And there are 6 living subspecies now, but sadly 4 others have gone extinct.
And white tigers aren't a separate species.
No, they're a genetic mutation, usually seen in Bengal tigers. And just like our fingerprints, every tiger's stripe pattern is totally unique.
Like a natural barcode?
Exactly. And the Bengal tiger is India's national animal.
Okay, cool. Now, lions, the social cats.
The only truly social cats, yes. They live in groups called prides. The size varies, but it's usually related females, their cubs, and a few adult males.
And the lionesses do most of the hunting.
Primarily, yes. Teamwork makes the dream work for them. And a male lion's roar is incredibly loud. You can hear it up to 8 kilometers or 5 miles away.
Wow, and you can tell their age by their nose.
Roughly, yeah. A lion's nose generally gets darker, more black patches as it gets older.
Interesting little clue. Okay, elephants, gentle giants, their tusks are actually teeth.
Modified in size or teeth, yes. And they have this amazing ability to sense rain clouds from super far away, like up to 241 kilometers or 150 miles.
No way. How? Maybe low-frequency sound?
That's the theory. Infrasound carrying over long distances. And despite their size, they can't jump. But they use those huge ears to cool down thermoregulation.
Radiating heat. And their trunk is technically their nose, right?
Yep, a long fees nose and upper lip. Incredibly versatile tool.
Amazing animals. Okay, last one in this wildlife section. Zebras. Those stripes.
Iconic. There are 3 main species, and just like tigers, every zebra's stripe pattern is unique. No 2 are exactly alike.
And they're actually black with white stripes, not the other way around.
That's the current scientific consensus, yes. Their underlying skin is black. They live in social groups, often called harems, led by a stallion. Herbivores, of course.
And zebra crossings are named after them.
Yep, because of the black and white stripes. And they're related to horses and donkeys, but they've never really been successfully domesticated. Too wild, maybe.
Maybe. So many incredible facts.